This is a calculator that is extremely unique. In our business, we measure volatility or risk based on a statistic called standard deviation. And very infrequently does anybody really know what the standard deviation is in their portfolio. But most importantly, mentally and mathematically, you want that number to be lower. And most people don't have any idea. They've never had this discussion with their financial advisor as to what is the downside that I can handle in my portfolio. So if you have $100,000 in a portfolio, $1 million in a portfolio, not percentage-wise, but let's just take this. If you had $1 million in a portfolio, could you mentally and mathematically handle looking at your statement knowing that you were down $200,000? It's a good question. So what we did with this is you simply put in what rate of return you need based on the personal austerity calculator, and let's say you need a 10% rate of return. How much downside could you handle? So let's just say you could handle being down 10%. When you click that button, this is going to tell you that if those are the circumstances, in this particular case, you need a standard deviation of 10 with a rate of return of 10. What that also means is you can handle being down 10%, and on the other side, that means that you have the possibility of being up 30% if you had a standard deviation of 10. Sounds a little confusing, it really isn't. Just simply put in, what do I need to make in terms of your personal austerity calculator telling you what kind of rate of return you need to target, and how much downside can you handle. Now we put here 95% of the time because statistically that's what we have to put. We have to put a number there because it's never 100% of the time. It's just a probability statistic. But put this in, because then what we're going to do is see if what you already have is what you need. But right now in this case, it's a standard deviation of 10. If this number was 15, you click away, and this means you need a standard deviation of 12.5. Remember, your standard deviation should always be viewed in relationship to your historical rate of return or what you need to make. You always want that number to be about 60, 70, maybe 80% of your historical rate of return. Most advisors never ask this question. I built this calculator for exactly that reason. You need to know how much downside you can handle, and as a result, what your standard deviation needs to be. So go ahead and use the calculator.